Hello everyone, I'm Stephen West, this is Philosophize This. 3 events in his life took him from thinking he's God's gift to humanity to just some random dude in a bar confessing his sins to all the people around him. The first event is something similar to a road rage incident in today's world. One day, as Clamence is walking around town, there's a guy whose motorcycle stalls in the middle of the road. Clamence starts talking to him. It escalates somehow. Now they're screaming at each other. There's a crowd that's forming on the side of the street watching all this go down. And someone from the crowd sneaks up behind Clamence, sucker punches him, and knocks him to the ground. Now, this moment was a traumatizing moment for Clamence and his ego. Keep in mind, by the way, the kind of modern person we're talking about here. This is the kind of guy whose values have never really been tested in his life. This is the kind of guy that would probably sit around and fantasize about road rage situations like this and all the cool stuff he would do. Imagining all the things the dude on the bike would have said to him. Oh, and then he'd be like Socrates, just dressing him down in front of the crowd. Everyone's laughing. Imagining the dude trying to sneak up behind him. That whole classic, what I would have done if I was there mentality. I would have seen the guy coming. Yeah, I got great peripheral vision on my grandfather's side of the family. I would have seen him come up behind me. I would have slipped that punch. Wah! Tiger paw to the kneecap. Put that man on the ground. That's what I would have done. And in reality, it's like, no, you wouldn't have. What would happen is you would get sucker punched just like anybody else would. One of the things Camus is alluding to here is the fact that it's very easy to live in a safe bubble you've created for yourself in modern society, to come up with all the values that matter the most to you, practically never have those values tested, and then, like Clamence, have an extremely overinflated idea of what you would do in some hypothetical scenario, all the while judging other people for how they mishandled things in your eyes. You hear people say stuff like this sometimes. They'll say, if I lived in 1930s Germany, what I would have done? I would have been one of the brave ones standing up to Hitler. Or if I lived in the mid-1800s, I would have been one of the people on the Underground Railroad trying to liberate people. But the fact is, there's no shortage in today's world of horrible things going on to innocent people within your reach. And you have to ask yourself, how often am I currently putting my own safety and my family's safety in danger for the sake of correcting what I see as a grave injustice in the world? The reality is, you'd probably be putting in a similar amount of effort if you lived during those times as well. It's just from this privileged position within modern society, we always have the ability to talk about how great we would be if only we were given the chance to be. This is the kind of fantasy that Clamence was indulging in about himself that leads to his eventual fall. For a lot of people, getting sucker punched in the street, having people laugh at you, no doubt it would be embarrassing, but it's not something that would typically ruin someone's life. But for Clamence, it's different. For Clamence, this is a tragedy. It shatters the illusion that he builds his entire identity around. The effect it has on him can best be described as a sort of reverse baptism. See, in a normal baptism, the ritual of it all is supposed to cleanse you. It's supposed to forgive you for the sins or the evil that you've already committed. But in the case of Clamence, once again, he's living in a delusional place of innocence. He thinks he's the greatest person ever. So when he gets sucker punched and quite literally is smacked across the face with the reality of who he truly is, it illuminates weakness. It illuminates evil, sin, a lack of integrity. This event in his life acts as a reverse baptism for someone like this.